Hey guys, it's Cole from TCG Cardcast, and welcome to day 4 of Yu-Gi Week. Today, we're covering the awesome final duel deck. That's right, guys, we're covering Atem's ceremonial duel deck. So, let's get into it. Now, an issue that occurred in this duel was there were not a lot of cards that were shown off in Atem's deck. The only monsters he actually played throughout the duel were Dark Magician Girl, the Three Gods, Swift Gaia, blah, 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 blah. It was mostly high-leveled monsters. So, for what I did with these decks was, for all the cards that I didn't know if they were in there or not, I figured, are there two versions of this card? Like how there's how Wadapon and Karibo are kind of like the two weak monsters of Yugi's deck. The Atem's deck has Karibo, and Little Yugi's deck has Wadapon. So, I kind of tried my best to make sure that the decks had mirrors of each other, and I'll go into that when we get to certain cards. So, starting off with the Dark Magician. This is the last time I'm going to be going over the Dark Magician this week with you guys. So, the Dark Magician is a Dark level 7 spellcaster monster with 2500 attack and 2100 defense. The ultimate wizard in terms of attack and defense. This was the embodiment of. This was the fusion between the Magician of Dark Illusion and the Pharaoh's protector Mahad, when he was going to be beaten by the evil King Bakura that we learned about in Season 5. Very cool. We have Dark Magician Girl, the reincarnation of pretty much the rendition of Mana in these cards, which was the Pharaoh's best friend. Dark Magician Girl is a Dark level 6 spellcaster effect with 2000 attack and 1700 defense. This card gains 300 attack for each Dark Magician or Magician of Black Chaos in either player's graveyard. Very, very cool. Now, I decided that in Duelist Kingdom, Yugi played two different ritual monsters, Magician of Black Illusion and Blackluster Soldier. While I'll admit that Blackluster Soldier would have fit better into this deck, because of Dark Magician Girl's effect, I tossed the Magician of Black Illusion into this deck. I just thought it would work better, so I gave Yugi Blackluster Soldier and I gave the Pharaoh Magician of Black Chaos. So, Magician of Black Chaos is a level 8 Dark Spellcaster Ritual monster with 2800 attack and 2600 defense, and can be ritual summoned using Black Magic Ritual. Very cool classic card. And it even makes more sense for the Pharaoh to have this card because Yugi wasn't even conscious when he played this card. So, it's more of a Pharaoh card if anything. Then again, I guess in that case, so is Blackluster Soldier, because I don't even think Yugi knew it was there. This is going to be the first and last time I ever do this in any character deck. We have all 3 of the Egyptian God cards, guys. All 3 of them. Look at that. The Egyptian God cards, Slifer, Obelisk, and Ra, are all divine beast monsters with level 10. Slifer has question mark, Obelisk has 4000, and the Winged Dragon of Ra has question mark. Slifer the Sky Dragon. I'm actually going to give you guys the effects that we're going to use in the duel tomorrow. So Slifer gains 1000 points for every single card in its owner's hand, and when your opponent summons a monster in any face-up mode, take 2000 points off of that mode, and if it goes to 0 as a result, destroy that card. Its normal summon cannot be negated. Obelisk cannot be targeted by card effects. And if you tribute 2 monsters on the field, he can destroy all cards on your opponent's field instead of attacking. The Winged Dragon of Ra, if brought back from the graveyard, can wipe the field instead of attacking. It can attack instantly after being revived. And it gains the attack points of the monsters used to tribute summon it. So, pretty cool. So, those are the 3 Egyptian God cards that the Pharaoh had in his deck as the true test to see if him and Yugi were ready. Very cool, guys. Always awesome. Next up we have Swift Gaia the Fierce Knight. Little Yugi's deck has Cursive Dragon. This deck has Gaia. So, I thought that was really cool. Gaia the Fierce Knight is a Dark level 7 warrior effect with 2300 attack and 2100 defense. If this card is the only card in your hand, you can normal summon it without tribute. Pretty cool. Very classic card for this duel, in all honesty, guys. Next up is the Archfiend, or the Beast of Gilfer, which is a level 6... It's a level 6 Dark Fiend effect with 2200 attack and 2500 defense. When this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one face-up monster on the field. Equip that target with this card. That monster loses 500 attack while equipped with this card. This is a very, very useful card in this duel, guys, because Yugi plays a lot of high-powered monsters, so this thing can really knock him down to size. Very, very strong card. Probably my favorite card in the Pharaoh's deck is the Tricky. I love this card a lot. So this is one of the Pharaoh's newer cards. The Tricky is a Wind level 5 spellcaster effect monster with 2,000 attack and 1,200 defense. You can special summon this card from your hand by discarding one card. Classic. Very classic. And he used this in combination with this card's spell card to summon Obelisk. So this guy is a very easy summon. Next up, the Pharaoh did show off that he does have Jack's Knight, Queen's Knight, and King's Knight. When I was originally building this deck, I actually threw in a second copy of both King's and Queen's Knight, so you'd be more likely to get off the Jack's Knight special summon. But I figured I didn't want to clog the deck with a bunch of copies of clones, so I just kind of tossed other stuff in. So Jack's Knight, Queen's Knight, and King's Knight are all light warrior monsters. Jack's Knight is a level 5, Queen's Knight and King's Knight are level 4s. Jack's Knight has 1,900 attack and 1,000 defense, a strong master swordsman. His loyalty is to justice, his duty to protect the weak. Queen's Knight has 1,500 attack and 1,600 defense. This knight catches her opponents off guard, dominating them with swift yet graceful attacks. And King's Knight has 1,600 attack and 1,400 defense. When this card is normal summoned while you control Queen's Knight, you can special summon one Jack's Knight from your deck. Again, the rule that we play with these guys is if you just summon either of them in any order, so if you go Queens then Kings or Kings then Queens, you can summon Jack's Knight. So it just makes summoning them easier, and it just makes getting off that special summon way easier, guys. Pretty cool. The Pharaoh also continued to use Baphomet and Gazelle to make his Chimera monster. So Baphomet and Gazelle. Baphomet is a dark level 5 fiend effect with 1,400 attack and 1,800 defense. When it's summoned, it can add a Baphomet, or I can add a Gazelle, the King of Mythical Beasts, to your hand. Gazelle is an Earth level 4 beast with 1,500 attack and 1,200 defense. This monster moves so fast that it looks like an illusion to the mortal eyes. Very cool, guys. Very classic combos here. A card that we actually saw him use earlier in Season 5 is the Skilled Dark Magician. This was a card that was shown off in their deck at the beginning of the KC Grand Championship, which was at the beginning of the Dawn of the Duel season. Because Dawn of the Duel and KC Grand Championship were part of the same season, well, Season 5. So I put Skilled Dark Magician into a Thames deck. So Skilled Dark Magician is a dark level 4 spellcaster effect with 1,900 attack and 1,700 defense. Each time a spell card is activated, place one spell counter on this card. When that spell card resolves, maximum 3, you can tribute this card with the 3 spell counters on it, special summon one Dark Magician from your hand, deck, or graveyard. This guy is very easy for getting out the Dark Magician, guys. Very easy. Another darker card that they used in Awaken the Dragons, which was a card, again, that the Pharaoh himself used, is Breaker the Magical Warrior. Breaker the Magical Warrior is a dark level 4 spellcaster effect with 1,600 attack and 1,000 defense. When this card is normal summoned, place one spell counter on it, maximum 1. This card gains 300 attack for each spell counter on it. You can remove one spell counter from this card to target one spell trap card on the field, destroy that target. A very classic Yugi card, guys, even though he only used it once. Still, very classic. Now, when I threw the 3 God cards in here, I wasn't too sure if I wanted to throw these in, but they matched the theme of the Pharaoh's deck so well. So I'm playing 3 Ra's Disciples, guys. These guys are your primary tribute fodder for the Egyptian gods, because this deck isn't... I don't want to say that this deck isn't very good about getting tribute fodder out, but it really isn't. The deck has a lot of high-level monsters, so getting out these guys is quite the saving grace. So... Ra's Disciples are all light level 4 fairy effects with 1,100 attack and 600 defense. When this card is summoned, you can special summon up to 2 Ra's Disciples from your hand and or deck. Cannot be tributed except for the tribute summon of an Egyptian god. You can only act and cannot and you cannot special summon monsters except by the effect of Ra's Disciple. So yeah, these guys are your primary tributes for them. And if you summon Ra with them, it gets 3,300 attack points. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty neat. Also, really cool looking cards, guys. Really cool. I've been waiting for a reason to use these guys, so I'm glad I finally found one. Mystical Elf. This card just fits the spellcaster theme for the deck. I know it's kind of a lighter card, but I just thought it worked better in all honesty, guys. I just think I liked it in here, so. Mystical Elf is a light level 4 spellcaster normal monster with 800 attack and 2,000 defense. A delicate elf that lacks offense, but has a terrific defense, backed by mystical powers. One of my favorite cards Yugi's ever played, guys. This is always going to be a classic card for me. He also played the very powerful Big Shield Gardna. I think this was the first duel, the duel between Yugi and Atem. This is the first duel where Big Shield Gardna was an effect monster. It had been a normal monster the entire show. So that's pretty crazy. Big Shield Gardna is an Earth level 4 warrior effect monster with 100 attack and 2600 defense. When it's attacked, it is changed into attack mode. Or when, after the damage step, it's changed into attack mode. So if your opponent attacks it in defense position, they take damage, and then it flips into attack mode. So still pretty cool. Very, very big card. It's very easy to mow over, but still a very classic card. Another card that they showed that they did have in the KC Grand Championship that was, again, a darker card is they had the Old Vindictive Magician. And again, this just seemed like the perfect card for this deck. Old Vindictive Magician is a dark level 2 spellcaster effect with 450 defense attack and 600 defense. Flip. Target one monster your opponent controls, destroy that target. Pretty generic. Very, very, very cool flip card. She is a very, very cool card. Next up we have... So, Little Yugi's deck had Wadapon, so I decided into this deck I would toss Karibo. It just made the most sense to me, guys. So, Karibo. That's the last monster. On to the Pharaoh spells and traps. We have the classic combo of Monsterborn, Pot of Greed, Polymerization. A new card that we got. I'm still wishing that we got more of the cards from that duel, because the Pharaoh played some really cool cards in that duel. But this is one of the few cards we do have from that duel, which is Rebellion, which is a quick play spell card. During either player's battle phase, target one monster your opponent controls. Take control of it until the end of the battle phase. Also, other monsters you control cannot attack for the rest of this turn. You can only activate one Rebellion per turn. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. This is one of the first cards he played that actually matched his Egyptian heritage, so it's a very cool card. Very cool. Very classic for that duel. A card I tossed in here because I can't even see how people don't play this in this deck. We have the true name, guys. Like, it's literally Atem holding up his name. How could we not toss it in here? Declare one card name and then activate the top card of your deck. If it is the declared card, add it and a Divine Beast monster from your deck to your hand. If it's not the declared card, send it to the graveyard. This is the most Yugi card I could probably ever think of, guys. Like, yeah, Monsterborn is a classic, Karibo's a classic, but like, if you tell me, like, oh, this card is a blank card, I'm like, no, shut up, it's Yugi. Also a very cool artwork. Then we've got a copy of Tricky Spell 4 for the Tricky. Tribute one Tricky you control, then special summon as many Tricky tokens as your opponent controls monsters. Pretty cool. And these guys can be tributed, so you can use these guys for your God card summons. Into our Dark Magician support, we have a copy of Dark Magic Curtain, which is returning from Waking the Dragons. Pay half your life points, special summon one Dark Magician from your deck. You cannot summon other monsters the turn you activate this card, but you can set. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Helps him get out the Dark Magician pretty easily. We got a copy of Thousand Knives. If you control a Dark Magician, target one monster your opponent controls, destroy that target. I believe this is the first deck Thousand Knives has appeared in for Yugi. So, again, really cool, really cool. There are a lot of spellcasters in this deck, guys, so we tossed Magical Dimension into this deck, which is a quick play spell card. If you control a spellcaster type monster, target one monster you control, tribute that target, then special summon one spellcaster type monster from your hand, then you can destroy one monster on the field. Very cool, very cool. Very, very nice, guys. Use this to summon out your Dark Magician girl, if you will. Black Magic Ritual, of course. I mean, how else are you guys going to summon the Magician of Black Chaos? Like, you're going to discard him and then special summon him back? Like, what? So, yep. The Book of Secret Arts. I don't know why he didn't play Magic Formula, because in the show it worked on every single spellcaster, but I mean, to each his own. So it's an equip card. A spellcaster type monster equipped with this card increases its attack and defense by 300 points. Pretty cool. Makes your Dark Magician a 2800 attack point monster. So that's a neat thing. So it's whatever. Magicians Unite. If you control 2 or more attack position spellcaster type monsters, target one of them. Its attack becomes 3,000 until the end of this turn. Also, for the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, other spellcaster type monsters you control cannot attack. So, a very cool classic card. He used this to combine the Dark Magician Girl with Dark Magician. So, always awesome. Always awesome. This deck needed an extra draw power, and it needed a way to get rid of dead hands, so I tossed in Card Destruction. Both players discard their entire hand, then draw the same number of cards. Pretty cool. And the final draw power spell card in this deck is Card of Sanctity. Both players draw until they have 6 cards in their hands. On to the spells and traps. For this deck, there are not a lot of traps that I threw in here, just because there were so many different spells I had to throw in. So the deck is very trapless. That's only because, again, all the trap cards the Pharaoh played are not real cards. So the first card we have here is Mirror Force, obviously, guys. When your opponent's monster declares an attack, destroy all monsters your opponent control in attack mode. Like, how else? How much better than this card can you get, guys? All honesty. Then we have Dark Renewal. When your opponent normal or special summons a monster, target one of those monsters and one spellcaster type monster you control. Send both to the graveyard, then you can special summon one dark spellcaster monster from your deck or graveyard. Very cool, very cool. He didn't play this in this duel, but it seemed like the kind of card he would play in this duel. So I have both black dark magic, or no, what is it? It's Magical Dimension and this card. So you can pretty much summon him from wherever. So pretty cool, and it's that nice secret rare art. So. And the final trap card in this deck is Black Illusion. He did use this card in this duel. Until the end of this turn, all dark spellcaster type monsters you control with 2,000 or more attack you currently control cannot be destroyed by battle. Their effects are negated and they are unaffected by your opponent's card effects. So, very cool card. I like this card a lot. It's a really, really, really cool card. Onto the extra deck, we have a copy of Chimera, the Flying Mythical Beast, which is a wind level 6 beast fusion effect with 2,100 attack and 1,800 defense. Requires Gazelle, the King of Mythical Beasts, Baphomet, and when this card is destroyed, you can target a Baphomet or a Gazelle and special summon it from your graveyard. So, pretty cool. You can get out your tribute fighters for the god cards with this. It's a very classic card, so I mean, why not toss it in, right? Very cool. Now, this is the only one of the 2 decks that has polymerization, and because Little Yugi's deck plays Buster Blader, I just tossed Dark Paladin in here just in case you can get it off, because it's 100% possible, guys. Like, it totally is. So, Dark Paladin is a dark level 8 spellcaster fusion effect with 2,900 attack and 2,400 defense. It requires Dark Magician and Buster Blader. You can discard one card and negate the activation of a spell card. So, pretty cool. And then you destroy it. Really cool. And then this card gains 500 attack for each dragon-type monster on the field and in the graveyard. Very cool. Very classic. So, that was my my 40-card Pharaoh Atem deck profile. If you guys liked it, make sure that you hit the playlist up in the upper left-hand corner to check out our other videos from this week. Make sure that you guys check out the video that was uploaded with this video, which I'm actually going to put in the lower right-hand corner, which was Little Yugi's Dawn of the Duel deck. Make sure you guys hit the button in the center of the screen to subscribe on the spot. Go into the description, make sure you like, comment, check out our Discord and our Patreon if you want to help us support our channel and make better content for you guys. Tomorrow we're going to be doing the ultimate duel, friend versus friend, Pharaoh versus Little Yugi. This has been Cole from TCG Cardcast. Peace out, guys.